Welcome on and all. With the help of this following video, we are going to discuss the control statements under the course name Programming for Problem Solving in C, which falls under the Unit 2 of the course. The prerequisite of the following topic is basic knowledge about problem solving techniques, basic knowledge about C programming. Objective of today's session is to discuss about the case control structure, goto statement, exit statement with some example programs. This is for the recap of the previous session. The control statements in C are subdivided into the major groups: decision statement, loop statement, break and continue, case control structure, go to, exit statement. Among that, in the previous two sessions, we have discussed about decision statements, loop statements, break and continue. Further, case control structure, go to statements, exit statements will be discussed in this session. First, we start with jump statement, that is switch case break, or it is always called as case control structure. Where we are going to use this one, C has a built-in multiple branch selection statement called as switch, where a successive test value is going to be used against a list of integer or character constant. When a match is found, the statement associated with this constant are executed. There is a default statement is executed if no match is found. This default is an optional. If it is not present, no action will be take place if all the matches are failed. The syntax of switch control structure is given here, and the flowchart is also given here. Switch statement with an expression is there. This expression may be a evaluation or a integer or a constant value or a character value. Switch starts with the curly braces and then several cases are listed out here. Case constant 1 and then a set of statement for this sequence and then break will be there. Case constant 2 and several set of statements and break will be there. Likewise, it will go on unto n number of cases. At final, we are having a default. For that, we are having a set of statements for this default case. The flowchart is there to understand the basic concept of the switch case. Once you enter the switch, according to your constant value, we are going to take any one of the case. After you execute the any one of the case block statement, a break will be there so that we come out of the switch statement. There are some set of rules are given for the usage of switch statement. The rules are given below. An expression must always execute to a result. Either it may be a character constant or it may be a numerical constant. Case label must be a constant or and unique value. Case 1, case 2, case 3 are the very simple idea about that. It will be a constant value and it will be the unique value, or otherwise we can give case A, case B, case C like that. And case label must end with a colon, case 1 colon like that. A break keyword must be present in each case, otherwise your execution will enter into every case to execute. And there can be only one default label is there. It is says that it can be only one default label. That only one default label is mandatory, but either the default can be there or cannot be there. And we can nest multiple switch statements of n numbers according to our programming need. Using an example, we can see a normal switch case break statement here. It is a simple one where we can understand this switch option may be any number of case and it can be have any constant value. Here we have taken from the user we are going to get the value number, and then using for the number we are going to write case 7, case 8, case 9. There is no such need for start from 1, 2, 3 like that. We are going to write for case 7 only and case 8 only and case 9 only, not for the all other numbers. For case 7 we are going to print the value is 7, or otherwise we can write any set of value. For case 8 we are writing only simple print value, case 9 we are writing simple print value, and default we are saying that it is a out of range. For example, if the user enter the value 8, then in the switch it is going to check this value, what is the value is there in num, and then if the value is 8, it will check for each and every case one by one, and then it will enter into the case where it is equal to the our checking condition. Our checking condition is num, and then your case is 8, so both are equal. Now these statements are executed, value is 8 will be printed, and then we are reading a break value. What is the meaning of break statement? It will break the current loop, so automatically the switch statement is ended here. For example, another run we can see the other possibility. If the user is giving the value 10, what will happen? The switch will evaluate this for each and every case. Case 7 is evaluated, case 8 is evaluated, case 9 is evaluated, and at last we go for default. In default it will say out of range, and then it read the break to come out of the switch statement. Here you can see the both run of test cases. Enter number 8, the value is 8 is printed. For enter number of 6, out of range is printed. Here we are having another example of C program with switch statement to display various arithmetic operations including addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. According to the user choice, we are going to do these operations. We are declaring our own variables, and then we are declaring a menu like structure. 1 for enter to choose addition, enter 2 to choose subtraction, 3 for multiplication, 4 for division, and we ask the user enter your option. The user is going to enter some value that is going to read in a variable option which is declared as a numerical value, that is integer value. Now if your option is less than or equal to 4, that is the user is going to enter 1 2 3 4 within any one of the value 1 2 3 4 he is going to enter. Then only we will get into the while loop, and then now in a switch option we are going to verify whether it is false under case 1 or case 2 or case 3. If for example if the user choose the 1, then this set of statements comes under the case 1 will execute. Right from here to here only it will execute. For example, user is going to enter 1. If the user enter 2, what will happen? This set of statements will execute from enter 2 numbers for subtraction, scan of these two values, and then in the variable is that x minus y will be calculated and the printf statement will execute. What happens if the user executes 3 to choose? Then this set of statements will execute. So according to the given set of value, this set of things will be executed. If the user enter 4, then the division case will be selected. If the user does not enter the value between 1 to 4, then we are going to say it falls under the default. The user is advised to enter the correct option, and they are asking to enter the another key to continue. Next, we are going to see a special case in the switch statement, which is called as fall through statement. Fall through statement in switch. Here we can see there is no break statement associated with any one of the switch. Then what will happen? Let us see. We are having a string array, hello there, strange little planet, which comprises a string with 5 words, and then each and every word is having a white space in between each and every word. Now x is defined as 0, and then the string of 0 is there in the while loop until there is a value in this string. This while loop will keep on executed. In the first pass, now x equal to 0 and then string of x is there. So in the first pass, hello will be there in the string of x. So this value string of x will have the hello. Now it will search for any break statement in any one of the case. It will enter to this first case, no break. So that go for the second case, no break. So until there, it comes to each and every statement, and then there is no case matched for you, so that it go for the default statement. So it will put the character. What is this put character? It will put the character in the display screen of string of x. So first of all, hello will be printed, and then x will be incremented now, so that now while will be again check for the value of x, the string value with the second array, second index of the array, there is going to be stored. Now also it will go on repeatedly, and then it will enter to the blank space where we are having in the between hello and there, so that a slash n will be printed. According to this logic, you can see until hello there strange little planet will be printed one by one. And the discussion about the nested switch is, we can have the inner switch embedded in the outer switch. Also, the case constants of the inner switch and outer switch may be common value and without any conflicts. In continuation with the jump statement switch case break, we are having another interesting concept called nested switch statement. So what is nested switch statement? Just like the nested if, here also one switch statement is targeted with another switch statement. That is, one switch statement is nested in another switch statement. Here we are having switch B and switch A. Here there are both two switches are there, where the switch B is nested inside the switch A. Let us see one by one. In our program, here we are going to construct a menu-like structure, one for School of Computing Science, two for School of Business, three for School of Engineering, and we ask the user to make your selection. As per the selection given by the user, we construct a switch. For switch A, we construct numerical constant case 1 colon. This is the default setup for the switch case break. And in the case 1, we need to write our code for the case 1 statements, and we need to supply the break statement. And in case 2, we write our own code for the case 2 set of statements and a break statement here. Within that, you can see in case 2, we are writing our own another menu-like structure, and within the case 2, we are having a switch statement for handling another switch inside the previous outer switch called switch A For our convenience we talk like this. It is a switch A and another one is switch B. Switch A is the outer switch and now switch B is the inner switch. If the user suppose selecting the case 1, then there is no use for the switch B. But if the user selects the case 2, now what happen? If you user want to know the details about the school of business, then obviously he will select 2 in the outer switch, so that the case 2 will be evaluated, and then in case 2 a menu like structure will be printed. Available departments, Department of Commerce, Department of Purchasing will be printed, and then ask the user to make this selection here. Now the user is going to enter some value. This numerical constant value now will become a option for switch B. Inside the switch B, now again we need to construct our own cases and our own block of code and break statement. Here you can see in the inner switch, that is switch B, we are having two cases. First one is we are going to say the user you choose Department of Commerce. If it is case 2, we need to display the you choose Department of Purchasing, and then we need to give the sufficient break statement respectively according to the block. Let me check with the output, input, output. Here the user is supplied with a menu like structure, 1 for School of Computer Science, 2 for School of Business, 3 for School of Engineering, and ask the user to enter a selection. The user select 2. Now what happened? Remember that we are having a inner switch in the case 2. In case 2, again it will display available departments, Department of Commerce, Department of Purchasing. Now here we ask the user to again make a selection. Now the user select 1, so it displays you choose Department of Commerce. Another one example for the nested switch is given below. Here we are going to get the ID of the user and we are going to verify it. If the ID is correct, then we are going to ask the password for the user. If the password is also correct, then we can able to identify the programmer, or otherwise we will say either it is incorrect password or either it is a incorrect ID. So that in this programming logic we need to use nested switch. First we assign a default value for the ID and the default password, and we ask the user to enter their ID. The user is going to enter some ID, and then using a switch case we can identify either this ID is equal to the default ID I have given. Now the user is going to enter the password, and if the password is going to be verified for another switch case, and this switch case is the inner case and the UCID switch case is the outer case. Now go through the program. Now the user is going to enter some ID, and then switch of ID is going to verify for every cases here. Here one case is given, case 500, and then if the case is correct, then we go for asking the user to enter the password. Now user is going to enter the password. This password is also going to verify using a switch case here in the inner of the outer switch case, switch ID. Now here we are going to welcome the programmer if the case is correct as per the given password. Else there is a default case is there to warn the user it is a incorrect password. This is for the inner switch case. Now go for the outer switch case. Now we are having a default switch case set of code where we are saying that the user enter the incorrect ID. All these three types of output can be verified. Now here I am giving all positive values. That means the user ID is 500, the password is 000. So all those two are correct, then it welcome the programmer. In the second run, I am giving the ID correct and I am giving the password wrong. So it says it is incorrect password. In the third run, I am giving ID is wrong, so that it clearly identified, it is an incorrect ID. Next, we are going to discuss about the jump statements, which comes under the control statements in C. In jump statements, we are going to discuss about the goto statement. What is the use of goto statement? Goto statements come along with a label statements for operation. A label is a valid identifier followed by a colon. It maybe starts with a numerical, starts with any character constant value along with the numerical value. Furthermore, the label must be in the same function as the goto that it is used. That means goto cannot jump between functions. The syntax of the goto is given below. Goto, label, and then there is a set of code is there, and then the label colon is there. So that by reading this label goto, it will jumps the execution and it bypass all this code given below the goto. The flowchart and syntax of the goto statements are given below, and the goto statement can use to jump from anywhere to anywhere within the function. That means it can jump from top to bottom or from bottom to top. According to your program need, we can able to make use of the goto statement along with the label. The goto statement is also called as unconditional jump. Most programmers concerned about goto statement is a tendency to render the programs unreadable. The main advice is for the programmers is they try to avoid the usage of the goto statements in C, since the goto is a unconditional jump statement and multiple use of the goto statements will make the programmers to easily get confused or unnecessarily make the program to be a comes into a infinite loop or it cannot be able to properly terminate. It is advised to avoid the programming that require goto, or sometimes purposely if we need to use the goto statement, then if it is wisely used for such a condition like jump out of the set of deeply nested loop where we don't know how to execute the several LF statements, so that we can able to use a goto statement to jump out of the deeply nested loop. The example piece of code is given for understanding goto statement here. Here x equal to 1 and loop 1 colon. What is the meaning of this one? It is the label given for a following goto statement. And then we are having x plus plus. If x is less than or equal to 100, go to loop 1. So here what we can see, x equal to 1 and then this loop 1 colon is a label. Now it is having no use to execute. Here the compiler will pass this one and then x is incremented and then again x is equal to less than 100, then again it will go to loop, again it will keep on execute. A proper example given for the goto statement here. Using these goto statements, we are going to display from 10 up to 19 by bypassing 15. Go through the program. We are using a do while loop for satisfying this from 10 to 20 and then we are bypassing the value 15. So initially the value a to 10 and then we are having a do while loop. In the do while loop there is a condition if using the if a equal to 15, then we have to skip the iteration so that we are using the code to loop is there. Now if it is not equal to 15, then automatically it will get printing the value and then a will be get incremented until the while is repeated a is less than 20. And another example of goto statement is given below using a for loop. Here a variable sum is initialized to 0 and then for this I value is equal to 0, I less than equal to 10, and then I plus plus. That means this I iteration will be executed for 11 times, and then sum is equal to added with the I value. If I is equal to 5, then we jump out of this loop using a goto label, go to addition. So it jump out of this for loop. So whenever we encounter I is equal to 5, then we positively enter this two statement, so that go out addition will be there. Go to addition, we jump out of that. Until that, what is the addition value? It will be printed. Next, we are going to discuss the return statements under the jump statements. The return statements are used to tell the compiler once it encounters the return statement, the execution will return back to the position where it is called. It is mostly used in the functional blocks. Here, the return statements is further divided into return with no value and return with value or arguments. Here in function, we can use the return value, or we don't want to return any value from the function. The very first example given here is program with argument passed but no return value from the function. Here the prototype of the function used here is given as void. What is the meaning for that void? This function is going to get some input argument, but it is not going to return back any argument to us. Now we go through the program. Here in our program, we are asking the user to enter a positive number, and then this number is passed as the argument for the function called check prime and display. Now jump to the function here. Here in the function, that is given as a void, so that it means it does not going to return any value to the main function. Now inside this function, we discuss our own variables, and then using a logic, we are going to find out whether the supplied value is a prime number or not, and we displayed either it is prime number or not inside this program itself, in this function block itself, and then we are going to return back without any coding or without any output to the main function. The output is enter the positive integer 7, which is get from the user from the main function. 7 is prime is displayed in the additional function given for finding the prime number. Next, we are going to discuss jump statement, return statement, where it is going to return some value to the user. See here, the same logic behind the program discussed earlier. Here we are having a function which is going to be called from the main function, is having some argument, and it is going to return something to the main function. That's why in the prototype, the check prime number function is given with int. What is the meaning of this int? The prototype of the function is start with int means this function is going to return a variable which is a integer value. Go through the program. We are asking the user for entering a value, and then we are going to call the value by means of a variable flag. That means this check prime number function is going to return some value. That value is going to hold in the flag only. Now we jump to the check prime number function where we receive this value in the integer n, and then using some logic we are going to find out the prime number. Either it is modulo divided by the each and every number, the flag is going to be set. This flag is going to be written by means of return of 1 or return of 0. So this is the meaning for the return value. This return value is going to store in the flag, and then this flag is going to check whether it is going to be display the prime or not. Next, we are going to discuss the exit statement in the jump statement. In C, exit terminates the calling process without executing the rest of the code, which is after the exit function. Once the code will read the exit statement, it immediately terminates abruptly. Here you can see we are having stdlib.h, which is used for the associating the exit statement here, and then we are using printf start, and then the next line of the program, second line of the program, we are using exit statement. Immediately the program will get terminated, and then this printf end of program, the next line of the exit statement, will not execute. Thank you for watching this video. The reference of preparing this session is listed below. For further clarification, you can contact me in the given email ID.